I remember like hiding under the table and my mom and dad fighting about money because he worked at a coal mine. It was on strike and they weren't sure if they could pay the bills. And he was eating saltine crackers to make sure that we kids got to eat. And I remember I thought, if I could just make enough money, my family won't suffer. I want to be really clear that this isn't about cutting back or scrimping or saving or sacrificing or delaying or deferring or setting it and forgetting it or investing early, often, and always, or waiting for 30 years for things to happen and hoping for the best. That isn't going to make you happy. As a matter of fact, it's going to harm your business and it's going to harm your life. Most of finance has been indoctrination, where you believe that money is something that's complicated and that you're supposed to rely upon the experts to take care of you. And ultimately, they're posing as experts, but most of the time just financial salespeople that take your money and hand it to someone they've never met. So I'm going to show where the model is broken and then give you a different model that I think will help you as a framework. And with that wealth framework, allow you to feel less guilt and shame around money, feel a lot more prosperity. And when I say guilt and shame, a lot of guilt and shame comes from people telling you, hey, you're an entrepreneur, and not understanding who you are, that DNA, and making you feel like you should be doing something with your money that's against the core of your being. And they think they're doing that to protect you. But for most people, their notion of protection around the concept of money actually is prevention of prosperity and not protection. So first thing is that wealth is a byproduct of a life well lived. Wealth is a byproduct of a life well lived. Most people think that wealth has to do with net worth, and they get confused and think their net worth and their self-worth are the same thing. But money's merely a man-made efficient tool to exchange with one another. It accounts for value that we've created in the past, and it's a snapshot in the present. But your bank account doesn't dictate your future or determine your potential. See, we all have hidden potential. We all have unrealized value. And I call that the value equation. So if you want more financial capital, it's really a byproduct of two more precious forms of capital. The first form of capital is your mental capital. It's your ideas, knowledge, wisdom, insights, strategies, and tools, and it's what you do for a living. You have mental capital that you're using this bridge called business to serve relationship capital, people, networks, organizations, mentors, friends, and family. So that bridge is merely business, and the bridge of serving others, solving problems, and adding value is the road to wealth. So when people tell you it takes money to make money, it never takes their money to make money. It takes your money to make money. Like, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes relationships and ideas, value and exchange. Even if you feel stuck right now, you might be one idea or one relationship away from the next level of prosperity. But only if you play a game worth winning, where you determine the win, where you make the rules. Society has been doing a good job of indoctrinating people to believe that if you just check certain boxes, then you'll be happy. And they get people addicted to these outcomes sometime in the future, where they sacrifice who they are along the way for one day, someday. But guess what? One day and someday is always in the horizon and never reachable. And the real way to win is to create a vision that's greater than your problems, that speaks to your soul, and engages you in this world. It's when you're congruent with who you are and what you do. And when the win is in the work, you enjoy the process along the way, not just the outcome. The outcome's a byproduct of who you are and how you live, and it's merely little benchmarks of joy along the way, not benchmarks of success. Success is who you are and how you live, not just what you achieve. But society wants you to think it's what you achieve, but I don't know if anyone else has checked those boxes, got there, and felt a little bit disappointed. We're like, hey, money, make me happy. Hey, award, make this better. But if we lose who we are in that pursuit, then we lose. And people usually get stuck in one of two paradigms. And both of these paradigms are paradigms of scarcity. And scarcity is built around fear, doubt, and worry. And typically something that's handed down from us from generation to generation. Like my great-grandfather left San Giovanni in Fiore in Italy because he literally couldn't put food on the table. Now I know you guys have lied and say that you do what you do for your family. I know you've said it. I do this for you in an argument. You do this for you, not for them. You do it for you. And most of the time we do it for us to prove out some shit that happened in our childhood that we didn't accept. And so we're saying, do you like me now? How about now? Well, what if I do this? What if I get that? What if I have this acknowledgement? And so it becomes this kind of treadmill. But see, most people that aren't in this room are stuck in play not to lose. Play not to lose, hiding from their problems, holding on to what they have, scared that they're going to lose it. And that's where most people live their life. That's like 80% of the population is play not to lose. Now, most entrepreneurs are in a different form of scarcity called play to win. Play to win is always about the future, always on the treadmill, never enjoying the present. That's why playing to win is still a losing game. And look, sometimes I hear entrepreneurs wear play to win like a badge or a moniker, like, look at me, I'm playing to win. I'm like, cool. So when do you know if you've won? What does winning mean? And most of them can't answer, because if it's about, hey, I've won once I've got this, like I hit New York Times and Inc. 500 in the same week, but I lost $200,000 on a real estate deal. Guess what I thought about that week? The $200,000 loss. My wife found out from someone else I hit New York Times and Inc. 500 is like, we're not going to celebrate. I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I just lost 200 grand. Addicted to outcomes, not paying attention to details, because everybody told me that if you're going to be wealthy, you have to own real estate. And they said it was a passive income. Those lying. That was such bull. Okay. Like that was not passive, other than I watched my money pass me by if I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, I'm like, you know, this, like, I want everyone to think in terms of cash flow, but think of it as recurring revenue. Because as soon as you start thinking it as passive income, you think it's something for nothing and it corrupts the soul. If we choose not to maintain it through monitoring and management, then we are ultimately going to lose it, or we're going to actually have other people dislike us because they don't get to feel our energy and our vision and our intent. They just feel like they're doing it for someone else. So the story of our money is merely the story of our unprocessed trauma and pain in childhood. That's your money story. Your relationship to money is merely a reflection of the relationship to yourself. Anything that you haven't accepted or loved, you're likely to chase in the form of dollars. And here's the deal. Money is an amazing companion, but the worst solo artist. Meaning if you're like, hey, money, make me happy. Money cannot make you happy. Money can make you happier. Money can give you more options. Money can allow you to tap into other people's abilities. Money can help you measure whether something's effective or not. But when it's held up as make me happy, that's when people think that their net worth is going to make them happy. But the thing is, net worth doesn't translate into quality of life. So what I want you to think about is like, why is money important to you? What do you want to do with your money? Is it enhancing your life today and in the future? And if we even take a minute and go even deeper and further, can you remember your first moment or your first conversation or the first time you heard or thought about what money was? I remembered for the first time last week. I was asking a client this question. I do these one-on-ones and I asked the question and I was like, I haven't even answered that question. And I remember like hiding under the table and my mom and dad fighting about money because he worked at a coal mine. It was on strike and they weren't sure if they could pay the bills. And he was eating saltine crackers to make sure that we kids got to eat. And I remember I thought, if I could just make enough money, my family won't suffer. As a kid. And so my relationship to money was, it was going to solve problems that it's not able to solve. And if I could have enough for everyone, then I'll be okay. But you never know, because my great grandfather didn't have enough money to stay with his family. His wife was pregnant when he left Italy to come to the United States, didn't speak English. They changed his last name at Ellis Island. He gets on a train goes to Carbon County, Utah, where there's coal mines. A coal mine blows up when he gets there, kills 106 people. So he becomes a goat herd, lives in a tent, and then finally saves up enough money for his family to come 7 years later, and he meets his daughter, and she's 7 years old. This creates folklore within a family that if you don't hold on to everything you've got, you could be separated and there could be loss. And so my family put cash in coffee cans. They buried it in the cellar. My aunt applied for welfare and they found $550,000 in her savings account. I mean, it was scarcity becomes a state of being to avoid poverty. So they're doing all they can to avoid poverty and end up in scarcity. And no amount of luck, no amount of saving, no amount of discipline, no rate of return, no financial advisor will save you if you're in scarcity, because scarcity is the greatest destroyer of wealth. It's either playing not to lose, hiding, or playing to win, running, all at the expense of today. So money is merely a byproduct of value. And vision is what determines your value. What's your vision? Do you have a life? Have you created a life you don't want to retire from? Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're enjoying these videos, well, there's good news. More where that came from. So go ahead and click through and watch the next video now.